If you're looking for pound the best home health and beauty fragrance products, you need to go to ashkicking.com. All right, y'all. Dante's Boxing Nation. We at it again. We out here in Brooklyn, New York. It's snowing again. It's going down. Y'all know what it is. Wilder versus Ortiz this weekend at the Barclays Center. I'll catch up with y'all. Y'all know what it is. It's the nation, baby. Yep. Dante's Boxing Nation. I'm over here with the executive, the president of Showtime Sports, Stephen Espinoza. How you doing, Espinoza?
I'm good, brother.
All right. Now, let me just ask about this whole HBO situation with Canelo Alvarez. You already know back in February. He's out. Now they're scrambling to get Golovkin an opponent. Now, the position you're in, can you kind of explain the type of trouble, the conundrum that HBO has right now to try to replace? Do they have to, how does the financial situation work? Do they have to make it keep it a pay-per-view to save money on the network?
Well, you know, there are a lot of, there's a lot of different considerations, you know, and one part of it, a lot of people have put a lot of work into the event. A lot of people have spent money coming out to the event. And probably most importantly, a lot of fighters have been training for the event. I'm talking people not in the main event. So you never want to pull out the rug if you can, out from under everybody, if you can all avoid it. So, you know, from the network, and I assume the promoters as well, you'd like to see the event go on. Whether it goes on as a pay-per-view or goes on as, you know, as a non-pay-per-view, really, has a lot to do with, you know, in my opinion, the quality of the fight. You know, if you can get a pay-per-view quality fight on short notice, then it should stay pay-per-view. You know, knowing what it takes to put together a pay-per-view quality fight, it's unlikely that a last-minute opponent, you know, and I would say, you know, 4 weeks out is pretty last minute. I'd call that last minute. It's tough to keep that as a pay-per-view. There are financial considerations. If you're not on pay-per-view, then promoters are going to be looking to the network to write a check, and that's probably something that wasn't anticipated in the network budget. So there are financial considerations as well, but I think the overriding consideration for everybody is I'd like to keep the event together for the sake of everybody who's put in a lot of time and energy, particularly the fighters. And when you look at the opponents that Golovkin is looking at right now, Spike Sullivan, the guy from Mexico, Jaime Munguia, yep. Do those seem like pay-per-view type of opponents? I mean, in the abstract, you know, they're not the star names, and you know the difficulty is you've got people who are excited for a rematch, you know, a high-quality rematch, and there's going to be a letdown. You know, and nothing against any of those fighters, but it's not a Canelo-Golovkin, you know, matchup. And absent the circumstances, I don't think anybody would have said that any of those matchups you just mentioned is a pay-per-view caliber matchup. Now, I don't know the financial situation and all those things. Maybe it's not an option. Maybe the network doesn't have an opportunity, can't afford putting it on the network, in which case, you know, they've got to leave it on pay-per-view if they're going to have the event. So it's an unfortunate situation for everybody. It's unanticipated. Hopefully they can figure out a way to salvage it for the sake of everybody involved. So usually networks, they have to spend a lot more money to put the fight on the free programming as opposed to pay-per-view. Right, because then, I mean, you think about it, if you're going to put it on the network, you know, then the promoters, you know, one of their biggest sources of revenue will be the TV license fee. So they'll be saying, okay, if it's not going to be a pay-per-view fight, then write me a check, and probably a pretty sizable check too. Interesting. And that's their. Is this the worst year for HBO? It's all as long as you've been watching boxing. Yeah. With their schedule and everything. You know, look, there are certain things that are out of their control. You know, this one obviously is completely out of their control. And you know, I'd rather not, you know, go on record saying, you know, this is a, you know, I'm politically going to avoid that one. Not the best year. There have been stronger years. There have been stronger years. Yeah. No doubt about it. No doubt about it. All right, man. Well, do you think that Canelo they'll bring Canelo back into the oh, sure he is. He's a young fighter. He's a young fighter, and you know, relatively speaking. So he's got a lot left in his career. The Nevada Commission is going to, take whatever action they're going to take. Everyone's waiting on that. And, it's an unfortunate lesson that was learned by Canelo the hard way, and by, everyone throughout the sport is really given a really strong reminder. In a lot of cases, there is no flexibility. You're responsible for what goes in your body, whether it's intentional, accidental, unknowing, knowing. That's one of the professional obligations you have as a fighter. And the Nevada Commission is taking a position now with this fight that, even if there's excuses or justifications or explanations, there's still a penalty that has to be paid.
My name's Courtney, and you're watching Dante's Boxing Nation.